Hi guys, I just want to give you a quick little extra video because I decided to print those fill-in notes for chapter one and I wanted to make sure you were able to fill them in properly. I did mention a lot of it in the first video, but I just wanted to make sure if there was any specific numbers or anything you guys were able to find those. So you should have all of the, first of all the vocab is given to you. So you have all of that on that page. Under wellness, you should have all of the dimensions. We already talked about those, but quickly, dimension one, physical wellness, two is emotional, three is intellectual, four is interpersonal, five is cultural, six is spiritual, seven is environmental, eight is financial, nine is occupational. So you should have all of those. Let me see if there's anything else in there that you have to fill in. I think that's pretty much it from those. Okay, new opportunities. There's some numbers in there you might need. Since 1900, life expectancy has nearly doubled. And as of 2012, the average American's life expectancy was 78.8 years old. Heart disease, cancer, and chronic lower respiratory diseases are now the three leading causes of death. And the best treatment for chronic disease is prevention, meaning let's make sure it doesn't happen in the first place. The national health number 2 is the Affordable Care Act. Hopefully you've heard of that. And then the little V under there basically says that on that people can stay on their parents' health insurance plan until they are 26. Healthy People Initiative is number 3. And that is, proposes some of those things that are listed underneath there that we've discussed. Letter G, behaviors that contribute to wellness are going to be being physically active is number 2. The B part of that says the target is 150 minutes. Okay. Number 3, choose a healthy diet. 4, maintain a healthy body weight. 5, manage stress effectively. 6, you're going to have some numbers in there. So it's avoid tobacco and drug use and limit alcohol consumption. So realize that it says limit alcohol consumption because sometimes, like red wine, for instance, is actually considered partially beneficial for our heart if we don't go overboard. So sometimes doctors will actually recommend that you can have a small glass of red wine a night and actually might have some health benefits to it because it's got some antioxidants and stuff like that. But underneath there, tobacco is associated with 8 of the 10 top causes of death and kills about 500,000 Americans every year. And excessive alcohol accounts for 6 out of the 10 and kills about 88,000 Americans. Prevention is the key for avoiding disease and injury. Undertake other steps. You want to make sure you are developing good relationships. Plan for successful aging. Learn about the healthcare system and act responsibly towards the environment. It is important, the environment we are living in. We know that heredity has a component, but we can work around that based on our behavior. College students, we know it creates all kinds of issues, academic performance, stress, anxiety, sleep difficulty, cold, flu, depression, excessive use of internet, computer games, all of these things have an effect. Reaching wellness through lifestyle management. It just kind of talks about getting serious about your health, look at your current health habits, choose a target behavior. What is that? Learn about that behavior. How are you going to change it? Find help if you need it. build your motivation to change. You got to look at the pros and cons. Boost self-efficacy, and then there's some more terminology under there. So under self-efficacy, letter A is self-efficacy, which is how comfortable or confident are you in a particular task. So it's important to remember it's not your overall self-confidence, it's I feel very confident that I can accomplish this particular task. So sometimes people are they have very high self-efficacy in school, but maybe very slow, like low self-efficacy at their job. Or I have very high self-efficacy in volleyball, but I have very low self-efficacy in golf. Okay. B is locus of control. Where do you relate that control to? Do you feel like it's something internal that you've done? Do you take responsibility, or do you blame that on outside sources, which would be external? And then under visualization and self-talk, that two little I's is called self-talk. And that's super important because in all of your life, that means what are you saying to yourself when you do something? And so when you make a mistake, are you saying, oh, I'm the worst, I suck, I'm not going to get any better? Or are you saying, oh, crap, I made a mistake, I can do better, I'm going to study more, I'm going to practice harder, whatever it is. And it's especially important in school, in work, in our family lives, and in sports that we learn how to positively talk to ourselves so that we are being more optimistic and more resilient and all those things that make us live a better life. Figure out your barriers and try to change them, try to overcome them. If your barrier is that once you get home, you're not going to leave again, then you go straight to the gym after work or after school or whatever it is. The readiness for change stages. I think we talked about these in the other video, but I'll just mention them again. Pre-contemplation, contemplation, that's within 6 months. Preparation is within a month. Action, maintenance, which means you've done it for 6 months or more. And termination, which means you don't really feel like you're not ever going to go back to that bad behavior, hopefully. Relapse, it's going to happen sometimes. Just get over it and move forward and get back on the wagon. The worst thing we can do is let that bring us down into a continual bad behavior. And then SMART goals. So number 3 is talking about SMART goals, and that means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time frame specific. Okay, and so we talked about all those. Put your plan into action. Stay with it. Okay, to stay with it, again, use those social influences. Look at your motivation and your commitment. What's your level of effort? Do you have any stress barriers? Procrastinating, rationalizing, blaming. Okay, all of those you have to take into account. So hopefully you guys can go back and fill in those chapter 1 notes with all that information if you need to. And then, like I said, make sure you have your chapter 1 and chapter 2 PowerPoint from the modules, and then these 2 fill-in notes. And if you have all of that in front of you when you go to take the exam, you shouldn't have any issues. It'll open Friday morning, and you'll have until Sunday night to do it.